There was a time where I could not love myself because no matter how many times I shouted at the top of my lungs that we were all beautiful and perfect in our own unique way, at the end of the day, my self-esteem was measured by the opinions of others towards me. And I compared myself with the standards and the parameters that they had to consider someone pretty. Self-esteem can be defined as the appreciation that one has of oneself. But in my case, for many years, my personal value was the value of others towards me. I repressed my originality in a way I thought I would be considered normal, because in my mind, normality was a safe path to acceptance. On some occasions, I was able to meet these expectations, and I felt happy. But at the moment that somebody I cared about changed their expectations or likes in any sort of way, my world was hit drastically, and my self-esteem went straight to the floor. To me, love is a peculiar word, and we use it so frequently in so many wrong things that we forget where we should actually use it. We say we love food, we love TV shows, we love our friends, we're in love with our crushes, and we declare this so-called love every single day that we forget where it is important. Imagine you had a scale, and on one side, you put all the times that you truly shown self-love to yourself. And on the other, you put all the times that you'd shown love to anything else. Will this scale be even a bit balanced? Or will the unimportant side be the one with more weight? Isn't it weird that expressing love to other materialistic things is easy, but expressing love to ourselves can somehow seem like rocket science? When? When did this start? When did we start thinking that we weren't good enough, pretty enough, or simply enough? For me, it started when I was in 3rd grade, which means I was about 8 or 9 years old. And when I was little, I was a fat little kid. And all my friends were really, really skinny. So when we went to birthday parties and our mom took her pictures, I then saw those pictures. And I felt different. I felt they were pretty and I was ugly. Because they had beautiful long hair and I had short frizzy hair. They dressed cool and edgy and I was dressed by my mom. So I remember constantly wanting to wake up super early in the morning to be able to straighten my hair. And when we went to the mall, I used to beg my mom to buy me the exact same clothes that my friends were wearing. And I always got the same answer. Joanna, don't compare yourself. You need to appreciate who you are. And as a result of that answer, I felt guilty. Guilty for not appreciating who I was, and guilty for wanting to copy someone else. But that was 3rd grade. Then came the 4th grade, and I had a new problem. When I was growing up, I had a really big breast. And as a little girl who just wanted to blend in, having big boobs just wasn't the way to go. So I did the only normal thing I could think at the time. I hid them. I wore 2 super tight sport bras, a really tight shaper, and a hoodie. I even slept with the 2 bras on so that they wouldn't grow anymore. But to my good luck or bad luck, that didn't happen. They kept growing, and everyone noticed. I was the talk of the day, but not in a good day. Every day I heard comments like, "Oh my God, her breasts are so huge." I know. My mom said it wasn't normal. She must have gotten a breast surgery. If she has those kind of breasts in 4th grade, imagine how she would look like in high school. And every day I heard comments like this. And when someone said something behind my back, I ignored it. I heard it. I felt it. I was hurt by it. But I ignored it. On the other hand, when someone said something to my face, I lost it. I blushed, I cried, I went to the bathroom, and one day I even went home crying, and I told my mom that I was never going to go back to my school until I could get rid of my body, because I hated myself for who I was. I hated my body, I hated myself. I didn't want to be me. And you know, my mom, being a typical mom, gave me a speech that was kind of, don't mind what others have to say about you because I think you're beautiful inside and out. And that was a bit comforting, but it wasn't enough. And after a long talk, we came to an agreement. My mom told me that if I was to ignore all the mean comments from my classmates, when I turned 18, if I still wanted it, she was going to pay for my own breast reduction surgery. And for me, that was the best deal I could bargain for. So I took it. I went back to school, and for many years, I endured harsh comments from my classmates with the idea that I would one day get my surgery. I would one day get the body I wanted. And the years passed, and suddenly I was in 8th grade, and I faced a new problem. I started to realize that I stopped growing. I was really short, and all my friends were really, really tall. So now I was a fat, short, big-chested girl. And at this point, I had already given up being happy with myself. I didn't cry every single day, but I didn't consider myself beautiful. I lived in a constant daydream of what my life would be if I could have a different body. Until one day, I saw a billboard that said, if I had a surgery for every time that I didn't fit into the mold of perfection, I would have more surgeries in years. And right there, it hit me. What was I doing with my life? Why did I have to keep comparing myself with others in order to feel beautiful? It was clear to me that I didn't fit into the mold of perfection that society pictures, but if I kept going down that path, there was going to come a time where there would be no myself left. There was just going to be a girl who didn't love herself and valued herself enough that changed her body so that other people would like her. And I didn't want to be that person. So I knew I had to change. And I really did try, because in my mind, I really wanted to consider that some people, everyone, or just one person could actually consider myself beautiful for who I was. But that was the problem. I wanted others to consider me beautiful. Now, I went from wanting to be like others to be considered beautiful to demanding others to consider me beautiful for who I was. Now, one is a step up from the other, but they are still not enough. I didn't need anyone's validation. I didn't need anyone to tell me that I was beautiful. I was beautiful because I was me. I was worth it because I was myself. And I wasn't a quiz or a test that should get some sort of numerical value. I wasn't made in a fabric. I shouldn't pass some quality control test in order to be sold. I was, and I am, a human being. And a human being itself is the beauty of life. It took me a lot of time to understand that, but at this point, I had gotten so far on my journey of self-love that I couldn't stop there. I knew the problem. I knew what I had to do. There was just one more thing to do. I needed that extra push that will make me really believe it. So, on my sophomore year of high school, I did something that my 8-year-old self would have never thought myself capable of doing. I enrolled myself in an oratory competition where I dared to speak about beauty norms around the world and how they were poisoning the true essence of beauty. And in this speech, I stood in front of a crowd and I told everyone that I knew that I was short, that I had a big complexion, that I wasn't perfectly fitted, but that it didn't matter to me because I knew that what really mattered was for me to consider myself beautiful for who I was. And I think it's safe to say that my speech was very touching because I won second place. But to me, that wasn't the most important thing. What really touched me was the next day when I had people I didn't even know come up to me and tell me that seeing myself face my insecurities make them have the courage to do the same thing. I had inspired people into loving themselves. I had helped people understand that they didn't need anyone's validation. And looking back, if my 8-year-old self would have seen someone like herself accept herself for who she was, she wouldn't have longed so long for a surgery that she didn't need. She would have just accepted herself at who she was and be happy for it. I'm 18 years old right now, and I haven't gotten that surgery. Nor do I want it anymore. Because right now, I can safely say that I love myself for who I am. And not because some guy told me or because I took some quiz in a magazine to determine my beauty. No. I know I'm beautiful because I chose to love myself. So now, I would like to present myself to you. Hi, my name is Joanna Loaiza. I love to read and I love to play volleyball. I hate wearing heels and I'm 5'1". But most importantly, I am happy to have inspired other young minds through my insecurities because they became what made me feel as my own perfect self. My once insecurities are now the things that empower me, and I'm happy for that. Now, this was my experience. But in every corner of the world, there is a girl or boy who, instead of appreciating herself for who she is, she criticizes herself. And we all know that it is impossible to change the mentality of the world and make everyone understand that comments can be hurtful and that words can be as sharp as knives. So, looking back, I wouldn't want anyone to silence their thoughts so that I will feel more beautifully accepted or comfortable. Because, to me, changing others into loving myself is not the right goal. Helping myself to love me for who I am is the right goal. And I wish that when I was younger, I would have understood this because I now know that the best way to empower a young mind is to make themselves love who they are without the consent of anyone else. Thank you.